On your second point, I tend to share your views. Nature doesn't like vacuum. And we started working on the digital euro way back. Actually, when I started my term 5.5 years ago. And I'm not claiming, parentality on the digital euro, because my colleague Benoît Cœuré had already committed a speech on this matter before I arrived. But I certainly carried on with that project, and subsequently Fabio Panetta on the board, and then Piero Cipollone, who has replaced Fabio, have taken the lead together with a very, very good team which is focused on accelerating the pace and hopefully campaigning enough with all the stakeholders, meaning European Parliament, meaning European Council, meaning European Commission, so that we can eventually, not put to bed, but put to reality this digital euro. The deadline for us is going to be October of 25, and we are getting ready for that deadline.
The president of the European Central Bank, this lady right here, Christine Lagarde, has just said that they have a deadline to launch their digital euro by October of 2025. Yes, this is the president of the ECB. And listen to this.
But we will not be able to move unless the other parties, the stakeholders, as I call them, Commission, Council and Parliament, actually complete the legislative process, without which we will not be able to move. And I think it is critically important, and it seems to the agnostic or the skeptics, it seems to be more relevant and more of an imperative now than ever before, both on the wholesale and on the retail level, both.
The European Central Bank wants to launch a wholesale and retail CBDC this year in the next few months. And also, this is huge because the Digital Euro Association right here is shaping the future of the digital euro. And this is important if you own XRP and HBAR, because Ripple is a gold member in this Digital Euro Association. Ripple right here, as you can tell, Ripple XRP and the HBAR Foundation is also a silver member of the Digital Euro Association. So HBAR and XRP are both part of the Digital Euro Association. And the digital euro is coming this year, according to the president of the European Central Bank.
Another significant development on the horizon is our digital euro.
And Christine Lagarde has also spoken about the stakeholders that are going to be part of the CBDC. Now, when we take a look at the list of all the stakeholders participating in Wave 1, they include huge banks right here, as you can tell. And then the participants in Wave 2, the stakeholders, include a bunch of other banks. All of these banks right here, and these banks right here, all of these banks right here, HSBC, Goldman Sachs, UBS, so many huge banks all in Europe. This lady right here, Christine Lagarde, has confirmed that the digital euro is coming this year very soon. Yes, the digital euro is going to be built on XRP or Hedera HBAR. Yes, there are a lot of connections between Ripple XRP and Christine Lagarde, the president of the European Central Bank. Because the president of the European Central Bank was in a photo with Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, with the head of the IMF, the head of SWIFT, the head of the Monetary Authority of Singapore, IMF right here, and this lady right here, she works for the IMF, but she used to work for Ripple as well, Jessie Chang. So the president of the European Central Bank, Christine Lagarde, she knows about Ripple and XRP. Now listen to this video also about Christine Lagarde speaking about the digital euro and how it's coming this year by October in the next few months. It will be rolled out, so this is big.
As we face an increasingly digital future, we must prepare the ground for a digital euro. This will ensure the resilience and public good nature of our payment systems. It will also provide a platform for private innovation in digital payment.
This lady, Christine Lagarde, is telling you right now that the digital euro is coming, and this is important. You need to pay attention, because if you live in the EU, anywhere here, you need to pay attention, because all of these countries basically use the euro. So if you use the euro right now and you're watching this video, this will affect you. So in the next 2 years, the digital euro will be fully launched all over Europe, from Germany, France, everywhere. As you can tell, this right here is a CBDC tracker for the entire world that shows where digital currencies are in the stage of development. And as you can tell, most of Europe is under development. They're all in their pilot program or in research already. So the pilot program is the stage right before launching. They've already done their proof of concepts, they're done with that, and they've now have tested it in their pilot programs. Now the next step is to launch it fully, and it's coming very soon. Now listen to this video right here, someone pretending to be President Zelensky. Yes, President Zelensky of Ukraine talking to Christine Lagarde via Zoom, asking her questions about a digital euro. This is really interesting. Listen to this.
I'm also a good user of electronic money. So my question, you're introducing the electronic euro, as I know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how can switching to an electronic currency help?
Well, two things. Number one, it will be decided in October. So we are preparing the ground. We want to be ready. We want to be trained, but it will not be decided until October 23.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I'm personally convinced that we have to move ahead is a situation like the one we are in now. We are dependent on the supply of gas by a very unfriendly country. I don't want Europe to be dependent on an unfriendly country's currency. For instance, I don't know, the Chinese currency, the Russian currency, the whatever.
Wow, so right now she's comparing how Ukraine is relying on Russian gas, and she's saying how she does not want Europe to be reliant on Chinese financial infrastructure or other countries' financial infrastructure to power the digital payments in Europe. So this is big. Listen to this.
Or dependent on a friendly currency, but which is activated by a private corporate entity like, Facebook or like Google or anybody like that.
I'm user of Bitcoin too, so I had bought it when it started, and I hope that it also will work through the special system. And I know there are many protests in Europe against the electronic euro. What is the reason?
It's the beauty of Europe. It has different positions. If you ask in Northern Europe, for instance, in the Netherlands, they're quite happy to see the e-euro coming. If you ask a young German man, he'll say, yeah, fine.
Is that true? If you live in the Netherlands or Germany, do you want a digital euro? Is it true? Let me know.
As I said, I don't want Meta, Google, or Amazon to suddenly come up with a currency that will take over the sovereignty of Europe. I don't want a foreign currency to become the currency of trading within Europe. So we have to be ready.
She makes a few very good points that the European Union needs to have their own currency and it should be digital in some ways. But there are still a lot of concerns about privacy and security before the digital euro can be launched. But listen to this.
No, the problem is they don't want to be controlled. They don't want to...
Yeah, but you know what? Now we have in Europe this threshold. Above 1,000 euros, you cannot pay cash. If you do, you're on the grey market. So you take your risk. You get caught, you are fined, or you go in jail. But the digital euro is going to have a limited amount of control. There will be control. You're right. You're completely right. We are considering whether for very small amounts, anything that is around 300, 400 euros, we could have a mechanism where there is zero control. But that could be dangerous. The terrorist attacks on France back 10 years ago were entirely financed.
Very interesting. So the digital euro is a matter of national security for the European Union. It is a top priority for the president of the ECB. Yes, cryptocurrencies are going to be powering the digital euro, like XRP and Hedera HBAR. Both of them have massive connections with the digital euro. And also listen to this other video about Christine Lagarde speaking about crypto assets and cryptocurrencies. Listen to this.
One of the main topics up there was cryptocurrencies and all sorts of companies now getting into this effort, not least among them Facebook. What kind of threat does this pose to the traditional banking system?
Well, I think you have incumbents, the banks, commercial banks, and you have the disruptors. And clearly the disruptors are having an impact on the incumbents. We just heard a very large systemic bank here saying that they're launching their digital coin, currently piloted in a way within the institutional clients, but to be scaled beyond that. We heard from the European Central Bank that they have launched in November something that is called TIPS, that enables all the banks in the Eurozone to actually transfer instantly at virtually no cost money between them. So I think that the role of the disruptors and anything that is using distributed ledger technology, whether you call it crypto assets, currencies or whatever, and it's far from the bitcoins that we used to talk about a year ago, that is clearly shaking the system.
These digital assets that are being used are powered by cryptocurrencies and not just Bitcoin. There are other ones. That's literally what she just said. And they're providing real-time instant settlements at virtually zero costs. Now, which cryptocurrencies do you think can do this? Obviously, it's either XRP or Hedera HBAR. The European Central Bank has a lot of connections with XRP and Hedera HBAR and will be using one of these two cryptocurrencies. Hey, tap the like button, smash the like button, share this video with everyone that you know so the algorithm can push this out. Everyone needs to see this video. Big things are coming if you live in Europe, if you use the digital euro, if you have cryptocurrencies, this will affect you. This is huge. I love y'all and I will see you very soon. Until the next time, Wynand Crypto out.